Just 6 disciplined, consistent, shockingly focused months can remake your entire life if you decide to do it right. But that's the catch. Most people don't decide. They flirt with the idea of change. They get excited about it. They watch a video or read a post and feel inspired for an evening. But by morning, the mattress feels warmer than the mission. The snooze button feels safer than the mirror. The routine comes back, and with it the excuse. But for those who decide, not just wish, not just want, but decide 6 months is not theory, it's transformation. Now I'm going to tell you something that might sting. Your life right now is exactly what you've designed, either by decision or by default. No exception. Your income, it's a reflection of the value you've created and the skills you've refined. Your health, it's the end result of daily decisions, the food, the movement, the sleep, the stress. Your confidence, it's tied to the promises you've kept to yourself or broken. So if you want to change everything, don't start with your circumstances. Start with your disciplines. You've got 6 months. You don't have time to negotiate with laziness. You don't have time to coddle your feelings. You don't have time to justify what didn't work before. That version of you already had their chance. Now it's your turn. I remember when I had to start over. Broke, busted, embarrassed. 25 years old, pocket full of excuses, talent I never trained, and dreams that were rusting on the shelf. Then I met a man who looked me dead in the eye and said, "Jim, if you want things to change, you have to change. If you want things to get better, you have to get better." I didn't like hearing that, but it saved me. See, it's much easier to blame the economy, the government, your upbringing, your boss, your spouse, than to sit alone in a quiet room and say, maybe it's me. But that's the start of a 6-month revolution. Brutal honesty. You've got to tear the wallpaper off your own story and look at the framing underneath. You've got to stop describing your situation and start prescribing your upgrade. You've got to quit asking for life to be easier and start asking to be stronger. Don't say, "I can't wake up early." Say, "I choose to value comfort over progress." Don't say, "I'm bad with money." Say, "I've prioritized pleasure over planning." Don't say, "I don't have time." Say, "I've let other people steal my hours." That kind of clarity hurts, but it healed, and it sets you up for the 6-month rebuild. Now, what should you do in those 6 months? Simple. 1. Read 30 minutes a day, the right books, from the right thinkers, with a pen in hand. You're not just reading, you're remodeling your mind. 2. Track every dollar, not because money is the goal, but because stewardship is. 3. Move your body. Walk, lift, stretch, doesn't matter how you start. What matters is you prove to yourself, daily, that your body obeys your decisions. 4. Write, not novels, just thoughts, goals, frustrations, habits, 1 page a night. You'd be surprised what patterns you'll expose if you let your pen confess what your mouth refuses to say. 5. Cut time with people who make you smaller. This one's hard, because it's often friends, or family, or that voice in your own head that still speaks with the accent of your old self. But if you want new results, you need new rhythms, and that includes who you let set your emotional thermostat. 6. Build one high-income skill. Not 10, not everything at once, just one that the marketplace respects and rewards. Sales, copy, strategy, leadership, public speaking, content creation, system design. Take your pick, but master it. Because once you have something the market values, you are no longer owned by anyone else's payroll. Now listen close to this next part. This is where most people get it wrong. They think the point of 6 months is to fix everything. It's not. It's to become someone who can't go back. That's the real win. It's not having a it's becoming someone who says no to junk because they respect their body. It's not saving $10,000. It's becoming someone who doesn't buy happiness from a phone screen at midnight. It's not launching the business. It's becoming someone who no longer waits for permission to build. In 6 months you may not be rich. You may not be famous. You may not have it all together, but you'll be dangerous. And that's the goal. To become the kind of person who's no longer trapped by yesterday's pattern. To become unrecognizable, not because you faked success, but because you outgrew your old excuses. Let me tell you a secret. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Not the economy, not the company, not the algorithm, not the lottery. Nobody. If you want change, you better be ready to provoke it. And here's the beautiful part. if you give yourself 6 months of pure focused effort, the kind of effort that most people don't even give in a single week. If you wake up early, stay late, sweat, study, fail, if you invest in your brain instead of distractions, you won't even recognize your old self. And the world, it'll start treating you different. Not because it changed, but because you did. You ever see someone walk in a room and own it? That's not arrogance. That's alignment. That's someone who fought for their power and won. That's someone who said, I'm not living like this anymore, and meant it. You can be that person. 6 months from now, people can forget you ever struggled. 6 months from now, your voice can sound different because it's backed by consistency, not just volume. 6 months from now, your name can carry weight, but only if you stop wasting your name on mediocrity. I used to think time would fix everything. Now I know, only decision does. You've got 6 months. That's it. Don't negotiate with your old life anymore. Go take your new one. Most people never run out of time. They run out of courage. You see, after the first few weeks of change, the excitement wears off. The applause dies down. The mirror looks the same. The scale doesn't move. The bank account hasn't exploded. And that's where the test begins. Because in that quiet, in that space between effort and reward, that's where most people quit. Not because it was impossible, but because their expectations were louder than their standards. They thought change would feel good, but it doesn't. It feels empty. Because you're burning the old bridge behind you, but the new one isn't built yet. And in that gap, there's only one voice left to listen to. Yours. And if your voice hasn't been trained to speak as strength, it will whisper weakness. Let me be real with you. Growth is not always inspirational. Sometimes growth is brutal. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it looks like waking up early for a week straight and realizing no one claps. Sometimes it's going to bed without a win, but with the integrity of having shown up. Sometimes it's saying no to a party so you can study a skill that pays you nothing yet. This is the part they don't show you in the videos. Nobody tells you that becoming valuable takes silence. And in that silence, all your doubts rise. Is this even working? Am I built for this? Do I even want it anymore? You start to negotiate with comfort again. You start to forget the pain that got you moving in the first place. You remember how soft the bed felt when you didn't have purpose. But let me remind you, you weren't happy then either. You were just numb. See, comfort is a liar. It gives you rest without restoration. It gives you escape without elevation. It gives you pleasure and then emptiness. You must understand this. The person who built your old life is not qualified to run your new one. So when the voices get loud, when you want to fold, that's when you must return to discipline. Not motivation, discipline. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if it's raining. It doesn't care if your friends are ahead of you. It doesn't care what day of the week it is. Discipline just shows up. And that's what 6 months requires, not fireworks, but consistency. I remember a young man asked me once, Jim, when do you stop being afraid? And I told him, you don't. You just keep walking anyway. You don't wait for fear to leave. You move through it until your character outgrows it. There's a version of you on the other side of obedience that will look back and laugh at your excuses. And they're waiting for you. Now listen to me, because this next part is important. If you don't design your 6 months, someone else will. Someone else will sell you their product, their dream, their plan, their lifestyle, and you'll live it, not even realizing it wasn't yours to begin with. You'll scroll for hours, soaking in the highlight reels of people who built what you never dared to start. You'll rent someone else's opinion and let it evict your potential. And when the 6 months pass, you'll still be standing at the same shoreline with dry feet and empty hand. That's the danger of passive living. It feels safe, but it costs everything. I'll tell you a truth I had to swallow early in my career. Your future doesn't care about your feelings. It only honors your efforts. Now, I'm not saying ignore your emotions. I'm saying don't let them be your GPS. Use them as signals, not directions. Pain is a signal. Frustration is a signal. Exhaustion is a signal. But your decision is the direction. You don't get to follow both. You either follow your excuses or your purpose. Not both. And let me warn you, the 6-month version of you that's hiding in the future, they won't come find you. They'll wait. And the price of access is sacrifice. You'll have to lose friends. You'll have to lose opinions. You'll have to lose distraction. You'll have to lose versions of yourself you've grown addicted to. You'll have to let go of needing to be liked and learn to be respected. You'll have to trade your craving for validation for a craving for transformation. And most of all, you'll have to become okay with being misunderstood. Because when you change your pace, you will outdistance some people, and they will resent it. But that's not your problem, that's theirs. Now you might be thinking, Jim, this is hard. Yes, it is. But let me ask you this. Is it harder than regret? Is it harder than looking back 6 months from now and realizing you watched your moment pass like a train you were too scared to board? Is it harder than explaining to your future self why you chose comfort over calling? See, hard is relative. The moment you make peace with that, the moment you stop asking for it to be easy and start asking for it to be worth it, the game changes. Let me remind you, you don't need more time, you need fewer lies. You don't need more resources, you need more reasons. You don't need more followers, you need more focus. The reason most people never succeed, it's not lack of talent. It's the addiction to distraction. They're busy, but never productive. They're always talking, but never deciding. They know what to do, but don't do what they know. And that's the war. Not against society, not against the system, but against self. If you can win that, you'll win the world. Now let's get practical. You've made it through your first 30 days. You've kept your schedule. You've been reading, writing, waking, moving. Good. But now the real danger appears. Plateau. You think I've done a lot, where's the result? And that's when you start to coast. You start to say things like, well, I'm ahead of most people. I deserve a break. I'll get back to it tomorrow. And right there you're making a deal with decline. Because success is not about one great month. It's about making greatness boring. Let me say that again. Success is when discipline becomes normal, not heroic, not special, normal. You eat right, even when you're not motivated. You study even when you're tired. You serve others even when you're annoyed. You move your body even when it hurts. You speak with integrity even when no one's watching. That's when the roots grow deep. And deep roots survive storms. The people who lose at 6 months, they built their life like a tent. Quick to rise, quick to fall. You're building a fortress, brick by brick, book by book, day by day, promise kept by promise kept. And that, my friend, is unshakable. But you have to keep going, because you don't earn the new life in week 1. You earn it in the unseen hours. You earn it in the I don't feel like it days. You earn it when no one is clapping. You earn it when your old self screams for attention, and you refuse to answer. You earn it in the dark so the light can trust you. Let me close this section with something I've said for decades. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. 6 months from now, one of those will live in your hands, and only one will feel like freedom. Don't confuse activity with progress. Don't confuse tiredness with achievement. Don't confuse desire with action. You know what to do, now do it. And don't stop. You want the 6-month change? Then you must face a truth that most avoid their whole life. You've been lying to yourself. Subtle lies. Polite lies. Well-worded, well-defended, well-disguised lies. Like, I'm doing my best. No. You're doing what's comfortable. I'm just tired. No. You're undisciplined with your time. I just need a little motivation. No. You need a wake-up call. Because 6 months will not respond to your intention, only your execution, and that means today. Right now, you must become a different kind of person, the kind who follows through, even when the results are invisible. Let me explain something I wish someone told me at 20. When you first plant a seed, you don't see roots, you don't see leaves, you don't see anything, just dirt. But below that surface, things are happening, quiet things, unseen things, structural things. And if you water it, if you protect it, if you don't panic and dig it up to check progress, one day it breaks the soil. That's how success works. It's silent first. It's invisible first. It's unrewarding first. But if you quit, you don't just lose progress. You train yourself that quitting is an option. And once your mind believes that, it becomes a reflex. You quit when it's hard. You quit when it's slow. You quit when you don't get applause. And that becomes your story. Almost did it. I was close. I had a good start. You want to be remembered for that? Or do you want to be remembered as someone who finished? Let me be practical with you. You've made it through 60, 90, 100 days. Your routines are better. You think clearer. You've got more control of your time. Good. But here's the trap. Identity lags behind discipline. Even though you've changed, your mind still thinks like the old you. So it will try to sabotage the new version. And if you're not careful, you'll believe it. You'll say, I don't deserve this. You'll say, this isn't like me. You'll say, what if I lose it all? And you will self-destruct. Not because life took it. Because your old story couldn't survive your new power. That's why during the final stretch of 6 months, you need more than habits. You need agreements. Let me explain. Habits are daily choices. Agreements are permanent decisions. Like, I don't miss workout. I don't speak negatively about myself. I don't entertain time wasters. I don't invest energy in people who drain it. I don't eat food that betrays my goals. These are not rules. These are your laws. And until you make new laws, you'll keep breaking old ones. I made agreements with myself a long time ago. Some I never broke. Others I failed and recommitted to. But what matters is I stopped flirting with the old me. And so must you. No more side deals with sabotage. No more justifying one more scroll, one more bite. One more excuse. The clock is ticking. And you can't outrun truth. If you really gave yourself 6 months to change everything, and you've made it this far, now is when you double down. Now is when you stop measuring how far you've come and start multiplying how far you can go. Let me give you a shocking reality. Most people don't fail at year 1. They fail at month 6, when results start showing, when people start noticing, when life starts whispering, you made it. That's when laziness knocks. That's when ego knocks. That's when shortcuts knock. And if you answer, you go backward faster than you moved forward. Because success doesn't just attract opportunity, it attracts temptation. When you were broke, nobody wanted your attention. Now you're valuable. Everyone does. So here's the test. Can you say no to the invitations you used to dream about? Can you walk away from applause that doesn't align with purpose? Can you outgrow admiration and choose impact? The real reward of 6 months is not what you gain. It's who you can now walk away from. The version of you who needed validation. The version of you who over-explained. The version of you who begged for shortcuts. You're not that person anymore. You've traded wishbones for backbones. You've replaced busy with valuable. You've outlived doubt. And now you lead. Now you teach. Now you, not from survival, but from structure. Let's talk money, because it matters. Money is not the goal, but it is a tool. And in 6 months, if you've built a skill, tightened your focus, served a problem, and shown up daily, you should be earning more. Even if it's small, even if it's part-time, even if it's inconsistent. You've planted enough value that the world is now responding. Don't ignore it. Don't apologize for it. Don't downplay it. You've earned it. And here's the key. Money doesn't change you. It reveals you. If you're generous without it, you'll be generous with it. If you're disciplined without it, you'll be structured with it. If you're chaotic without it, you'll destroy faster with it. So don't chase money. Chase mastery. Because mastery will feed you forever. Now let me end with this. When I was young, I thought success was a mountain. You climb it, plant a flag, and take a photo. But I was wrong. Success is a staircase that never ends. You climb a step, catch your breath, feel proud, and then you climb again and again. And every 6 months, you look back and you don't even recognize the person at the bottom. Not because you hated them, but because you grew past them. That's what you've done here. You've outgrown hesitation. You've outgrown delay. You've outgrown the cheap thrill of instant comfort. And now you build legacy. Now you mentor. Now you walk into rooms with silent confidence, because you paid for your transformation with discomfort. Nobody handed you a thing. Nobody made you lucky. You became dangerous through effort. And people feel it. They feel it when you speak. They feel it when you move. They feel it when you say no with calm precision. 6 months ago, you were dreaming of this version. Now you are it. And the best part, this isn't the final form. This is just a checkpoint. The next version is wait 6 months from now. All it needs is the same decision you made back then to try. And this time, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from strength. Congratulations. You've changed everything. Now, stay changed. Here's a recommended product to help you understand everything more clearly. You can read it for free on Kindle or get the full experience for just a few dollars. Thank you for your trust.